Now, for the last leg of our tutorial, there's going to be a little bit of CSS, a little bit of JavaScript, some Express, a little bit of everything. We're basically going to be able to prove that, yes, you can make a Node.js application in just 20 minutes. So we're going to take this page and make it something a bit fancier. You ready? I know I am. Back in the text editor. All right, so the next Express thing we're going to learn about is express.static. Now, express.static lets us create a virtual static server, which kind of takes a directory with any files in it and serves it up. So when you make a server with Winamp, it's like every one of those is a static server, but instead of running a whole application to do it, Express will let us do it with one line of code. So first, let's create a new folder. And this will kind of represent the folder that our application lives in. I'll call it app. And make a new file in here. I'll call it index.html. Now we're in familiar territory. I'll just put a little bit of stuff in here. Okay, threw a bit of stuff in there. Now we'll go back to main.js. And we're going to get rid of this, since we're going to change what happens when we go to our default directory. So we'll get rid of app.get. Just in comments in case you want to use it later. And instead here what we'll have is app.use. And in that we'll pass express.static, and this will create a static server from whatever folder we pass. And we'll just pass a string that says .app. Just like that. And of course, we're going to have to restart our server again. Now, even though this is the last time pretty much we're going to need to restart our server, there is a better way than this. So we're going to install nodemon, which stands for node monitor. We'll type npm install. Then we'll say -g. Now, the -g flag, long story short, installs something globally so that you can access it from any folder using the command line. After that, we'll type nodemon, as in no daemon. We don't want any daemons on our computer. And press enter. So this will install nodemon to your entire computer. Anywhere where you can call node, you can call nodemon. Now, instead of typing node.js, we can type nodemon main.js. Now, whenever anything changes, our app will restart automatically. Pretty nifty. All right, so let's see how our app looks. Okay, and we have a different random message. So now it's serving our index.html page. Now we can build an entire app in that index.html folder, and it will be just like it's your standard PHP app. Now, why do we want to use Node.js if we're just going to make our apps like PHP apps? Well, there's a lot of additional stuff you can use. You can use EJS files instead of index files, or you can run different things. The main advantage here is that we can have multiple routes. So we have our static server here, but then we also have our API in the other folder where we can run arbitrary JavaScript code. So let's make this into an app real fast. First, I'm going to grab jQuery, not from my own computer, but just from the CDN, or Content Delivery Network. Magic of copy and paste. And there it is. You can copy that if you want, or find jQuery on a CDN yourself, but that's the link right there. This is going to bring jQuery into my application. Save that. And if I refresh my app and open up the command line tools with F12, if I press $, it's jQuery. Yay! Back to the browser, I'm going to put a script here. Now I'm going to say $.getJSON. And can you guess what I'm going to get? That's right, I'm going to grab our API route that we spun up using Express. And we'll add a second function, a callback function. And we'll just have it log the houses that are returned. And let's check it out. And it works. So it uses JSON to grab the data from our API. Are you still with me? I really hope so. Last but not least, let's display this information for our interested users. So we'll get rid of this and add a new div and call it houses. Then up in here, I'll go houses and I'll do a for each loop on it. And what I'll do is for each one of these, I'll append something to our div with the ID houses. Now, I want to say at this point that, you could use Angular or React for a better way of doing this repeater list. But in this case, it's fine since it's not going to change, and there's a lot less overhead. It's easier to understand with just jQuery. So we'll append, and now we'll use a JavaScript template string, which will allow us to use this multi-line string like that. And we'll put an h3 tag. And inside, if we put a $sign in these curly brackets, whatever's in here will be interpreted as JavaScript. So we'll say h.name. And then below it, an h4 tag that says h.member. And that should more or less be fine. Let's see if it works. Yeah, it's our app. Okay, let's do 1 or 2 finishing touches and call it a day. Back here, first I'll put this div houses inside another div with the class container. Whether you're using Bootstrap or Skeleton or whatever CSS library you use to quickly fix your app up is usually looking for a div with a class container. It's like the only CSS standard there is. Next, let's give our app a title. I will call my app Hear Me Roar. And now I'm going to do a little cheat. I'm just going to use a CSS library to make this whole thing look a bit better. So I'm going to grab this link from a different CDN and I'll paste that in. Whoops, that should be outside of the script tag. That's better. So basically what I'm doing is I'm bringing the CSS file and it's going to automatically make our app look better. The CSS library is called Skeleton. I like it because unlike Bootstrap, you don't need to write any special code for it other than that container that we put in. It just sort of works. Now let's see our app in action. All right, and that concludes our tutorial. So we've made ourselves an application. It uses Node, it uses Express, it reads from an API. This is just the surface of the huge iceberg that is a big Node application. Now, we didn't use Mongo here, we didn't use authentication, heck, we didn't use a lot of things. But hopefully this is a good starting point, and this gets you at least as close as you would be making any app using something like PHP or something else that does static apps. So now you're ready to write some Node applications. Why do I do it? Because I really enjoy Node, and hopefully you'll find the same is true for yourself. Well, I've been the Code Whisperer. Have yourself a good old day.